Allow me to welcome you to the Dead Boy Detective Agency.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're investigating the origins of the Dead Boy Detectives. Since we'll be diving into the lore, expect some spoilers ahead.
She is absolutely not joining the agency.
You know I can totally hear you guys.
Creation. The Dead Boy Detectives are characters sprung from the minds of legendary writer Neil Gaiman and artist Matt Wagner. Gaiman introduced them in a 1991 issue of his acclaimed graphic novel series, The Sandman. A decade later, and they'd be headlining comics of their own. Their stories were published under the Vertigo banner, a publishing imprint of DC Comics. While many of Vertigo's stories technically shared the same world with superheroes like Superman and Batman, Vertigo wasn't just another superhero brand. Created to feature more adult-oriented content, it gave creators a chance to color outside of the lines. And it was this ability to tell darker, more out-there stories that led to the birth of the Dead Boy Detectives. History. These crime-solving ghosts consist of Edwin Payne and Charles Rowland. Edwin was the first to kick the bucket when, over a century ago, bullies at St. Hilarian's boarding school murdered him as part of a dark ritual. Upon his death, Edwin's soul descended into hell. If this sounds like a bummer, trust us, it totally is. He would eventually escape along with countless others and find his way back to the boarding school, where he'd witness Charles being tormented by the souls of the very same bullies. Despite Edwin's help, Charles died of his wounds. When death came to take Charles to the afterlife, he refused to leave Edwin, who had already been taken to the afterlife once and couldn't be taken again. So the two boys went on the lam, running from death and founding the Dead Boy Detective Agency. For some time, they operated just fine as a dynamic duo, but eventually, they were joined by Crystal Palace, a girl who can speak and interact with dead souls. Connection to Sandman. As we mentioned earlier, the boys first appeared in Gaiman's seminal Sandman comic, specifically issue 25 in the storyline Season of Mists. That arc has Lucifer expelling the souls in hell and abdicating his position, thus Edwin's escape and return to the boarding school where he meets Charles. The detectives would pop up again in Vertigo's first imprint-wide crossover, The Children's Crusade, and when they did, the boys and the official debut of their agency took center stage. It's also worth emphasizing that when we say the boys run from death, we mean that literally. The same death from Sandman, who's the sister of Morpheus and part of the Endless. Though the detectives have fostered a famed following of their own, it's undeniable that Sandman is where they first cut their teeth. Powers and abilities. Due to being ghosts, the Dead Boy Detectives possess a range of paranormal abilities that often prove very valuable. They can make themselves invisible, fly, go through walls, and more. Basically, they can do anything that ghosts are typically known for. But while they could very easily get their kicks by haunting people, they instead decide to use their powers for good. And while it's not exactly a superpower, both boys possess strong investigative skills. Sure, they might not be on the level of Sherlock Holmes, but they've been able to crack plenty of spooky cases in their day.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Live-action portrayals. Along with Crystal, the boys made their first ever foray into live action in the third season of the acclaimed show Doom Patrol in late 2021.
You are the Dead Boy Detective Agency?
That we are. Here to solve any and all supernatural mysteries.
Their starring role in the episode, which was fittingly called Dead Patrol, saw them rescuing the slain members of the Doom Patrol from the underworld. All signs seemed to suggest that their appearance was meant to serve as a backdoor pilot.
Death is no joke. Death's quite nice, actually.
Sure enough, Max, then still known as HBO Max, ordered a Dead Boy Detective series, although with completely new actors taking on the roles. But those plans seemed up in the air for a while, especially when Max began putting shows up on the chopping block.
You'll be okay.
Right, that is not the plan.
Of course, if Edwin and Charles are anything to go by, dead doesn't mean the end. The show eventually saw new life over at Netflix.
We are the Dead Boy Detective Agency.
This switch has seen the show repositioned to align with Netflix's Sandman adaptation. In fact, Kirby Howell-Baptiste reprises her role as Death.
Pretty bang-on detectives when we're not hiding from death.
While fans of the Doom Patrol iterations may have been left disappointed, the development of a whole Sandman universe over at Netflix is pretty exciting. At the end of the day, what fans of the characters really want to see are the dead boys solving crimes and taking names.
I'm not going back to hell.
Are you looking forward to the new Dead Boy Detective show? Make sure to let us know by haunting the comments section.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.